Hey guys, Austin here from the Nashville Miller Strategy Battle Gaming Fellowship Group, and tonight we are painting some Osgiliath ruins and picking up where we left off last week's a couple of days ago, I should say. And so this is what we have so far. It's got a nice gray stone to it. So now I'm going to do a dry brush of some white scar tonight to give it um, that nice white stony look on the edges, raised edges of the stone. And this, we were having some connectivity issues on our last video, so I'm going to try this one and see if it does any better. All right, so I'm going to post a comment just to get people to say hello in the chat. So David, I gave you a shout out in the last video, but I was telling in the last video how fun our games were last night. I had a great time playing against you with your Mordor orcs, and I was telling the stream how I just went guns a blazing into the battle company mission where we were trying to seize the fortress, and all the orcs just kind of swarmed me, and then you just kind of eased on in to get for the win. So that was a really fun mission. I'm looking forward to what Jake has got up and coming for us this week with the two new missions that he'll be posting up. But how did y'all's your game go with Lego today? Uh, what did y'all end up playing? You can just post in the comments. We're still having some connectivity issues. One of our guys can't watch the video. All right, so um, oh, nice, David. So what did you all end up playing with for your escalation games? So at the Gondorian Gamer, my game scenario is which one's my favorite? Probably Fog of War is my personal favorite because I like the mind games that you're playing with your opponent, um, and just trying to figure out what piece of terrain you're going for, what they're going to try and capture, and then also what model that you're trying to save and they're trying to kill. So I think that's a really cool scenario, and I'm hoping they'll come out with some more scenarios that more than just the 12 that they have, just to give some more variety. I also think Flash by Moonlight's a really fun one. It seems really thematic, and we've used it in a couple of our events where we had a scenario where the uh, oh goodness, the basically when they were the Uruguay were attacking Helm's Deep, we had that for our Two Towers tournament as one of the scenarios, and so we thought that was really thematic with having that clash of moonlight at Helm's Deep. So that's another one of my favorites. And my favorite point value, I think it really depends. I'm really enjoying the battle companies right now with kind of the skirmish style because the games are small and I really like the story elements to the game where you can um, modify your characters and kind of make them have their own personality. So I think that's really cool, and I'm really enjoying that. But I also really like the more massive battles. So like I've been enjoying doing like the 800. I think 800 is a really good point range because you're having a large army there, but it's not so large that it just takes a lot of time. But yeah, so those are my favorite points and favorite scenarios so far. Um, and as I was saying in the last video, I forgot to dry brush this archer right here in our video 2 nights ago. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm just finishing dry brushing that archway. And then I'm going to start doing the white highlights on the stonework to give it that Osgiliath ruins kind of feel for the stones. It's that white stone. All right, so I'm using, as I was saying earlier, I'm using Rakarth Flesh by Citadel Paint for the stonework. Give it that kind of off gray look. And I saw some other. I was doing some research on how to paint these, and I've seen a few other people do it kind of like this. So, um, so that's what I'm using here. I'm doing a pretty heavy dry brush on the stone. I did Still Legion Drab as a base coat and kind of give it that dirty look. Since Osgiliath has been, worn for quite some time. So yeah, I'm glad y'all had a good time today, David. So he brought the Gray Company and you took Mordor. So um, what are some things that um, that you think you would change if you do the escalation for next time to maybe help um, win more of the games that you play, David? I love the Great Company. I like the Legendary Legion. I know John Billy brought them to a tournament that we had, and I can't remember if it was in Nashville or if it was the Atlanta tournament, but he brought it, and they didn't do so well for him. But I love the thematicness of the army. So Gondorian Gamer, who are uh, who are you and what group are you from? I don't recognize your name. Yeah, good call, Lee. Yeah. I would assume that he's from Gondor with his name. I'm thinking the stonework is looking pretty good here. I don't know if there's much else that I'm going to change at this point. Just looking to see if there's anything else I want to add before I jump on to the white highlights. I think it's looking pretty good. I was pretty pleased with how it's turned out so far. You can see that here. I think they look pretty good. I'd say we got to David and I got to play with these on these last night, and then these are the statues, and I like the statues because they're really quick since they're small. But I think the statues turned out really good too, and I'm gonna add some flock to them when we get done with them, and do that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go to the white highlights for the stone. So I'm using White Scar by Citadel Paints. For the white highlights. And now, so I did a heavy dry brush on the stonework to give it that dirty look. And now with the white scar, I really just want to do a light dry brush here. So I'm going to try and get as much of the white paint off of the brush as possible, and it's just to hit the highlighted regions. Oh, that's a good idea. So did your orcs get swarmed? Is that what happened? And they died really fast for your 600-point game, David? And what was the scenario that y'all played? Sweet. Thanks for watching those, Lee. I know it helps out the channel, and if you like those videos, if you hit the like button on those videos, it helps other YouTubers see our stuff. So if you get a chance, make sure to like those videos, and it'll help boost the channel up. So right now, as you can see, what I'm doing is I took my dry brush and stuck it directly into the pot. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking my paper towel here and trying to get as much of the white paint off as possible. So that way when I hit the highlighted regions of the stone, it just you're just getting a very light white on the stone. You just want it to be a subtle difference in the shading. Now I'm adding the white. It's a very subtle white difference, so you may not I can't really see any difference at right now, but so I'm going to add a little bit more white to the brush. I do want to see some difference. I want to get more of that white stone look. Oh yeah, Seize the Prize. That's another one of my favorites. I think Seize the Prize is a really fun one as well. I don't know what y'all thought about it, but yeah, I like that. I like Seize the Prize a lot. I don't know if you can see that here, but I'm adding the white right up here to the top, and you can see it's a subtle white difference, but I'm going to do that pretty much all the way across the stone. So that way it gives it that subtle white stone look that we're going for here. I'm trying to get the brush as much as possible because I don't want to get a whole lot of white onto the stone to make too harsh of a difference. Yeah, I've hit these top parts here, and you can see. I don't know if you can see that here, but the white is just hitting these raised edges right up here. So that way it's giving it that white stone look. And I've done it up here now too. And you can start seeing the differences. The white is coming off. So we had a really fun game today, Lee. It was a really tight game. We got to play with one of the armies that I'm currently looking at building in the future, and I've had some experience with them. And John and I are kind of keeping it a secret in case we do play them in the Atlanta tournament, because we don't want someone to try and bring a list that would counteract ours. But I'll say it was a very close game. We ended up playing Lords of Battle, and the army that John was playing. If you watch the Carolina Miller Strategy Battle Gaming YouTube channel, they're doing basically like a boot camp for the different phases of MESBG right now. And if you look up their YouTube channel, it's the if you type it in the search bar, it's the LOTR, I think SBG team, something like that. But if you type that in and you look at groups on YouTube, it should pop up. But one of the biggest phases of the game, as you may know, is deployment. And when John was deploying his army, he put his army leader kind of. His army leader is a very offensive model, and so he really wants to get into the fights and kill a lot of stuff. And um, he put him last, and he kind of set him up to the um, off to the edge of the battlefield, and so it hurt him because it took him a few turns to be able to get that guy into combat. So that helped me out, and but it was a very close game. At the end of Lords of Battle, John won 7-6. But we had a great time with our game today, and we got to talk about ideas of other armies that we're interested in doing and looking at right now. So, but yeah. So yeah, the plan tonight is to do this dry brush, add the white highlights to the stone, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit the wood planking on the other piece from the multi-pack, and going to add some shading to that one as well, so that way gives it some more character. What y'all think about the escalation format, David and Lee? Do y'all like the escalation? Are there things that you would change to it? What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, I like escalation as well, because I like, starting with a small army and then kind of building up and seeing how it goes over time. That's one of the things I like about escalation. Yeah, that's a good point, Lee. I like also how it changes each game, because you start out with a small number like 200 points, and then you build from there. And so, with the 200 point army, it's a very different kind of army compared to like your 600 or 800 point army, where you got your bigger models, your like your Aragorns and your Sarumans and Balrogs and all that. Um, so yeah, it's different, and I like the variants in it too. I'm finding out the more that I play the game that I'm enjoying personally, the more the story based stuff. But that's just me. So did you like your Grey Company army, Lee? Did you think it did pretty good for you? I've not played the Grey Company yet, but uh, I love it from the books. So you can see now with the now that I've added the white, you can see the white here kind of on the raised parts in these sections. So it's now giving it that white stone look um, across the model, which is what we're going for. So nice thing about dry brushing too is you don't have to thin the paint out. You just stick the brush directly into the pot and then uh, just get the however much paint, more or less dry brushing you want off of your brush. Well, yeah. Yeah, the only bad thing about the Great Company is they have, low model counts, but they're all heroes. So there's pluses and minuses. Like for the Great Company, they have small models. So like if you're playing a scenario where you're trying to get someone down to half, it'd be a lot easier because you only got to kill one model to get down to half when you only start with two. Um, but then the plus side is they've got they're all heroes, so they're usually a bunch of killing machines. I'm interested to try out. I'm gonna the army I'm thinking about bringing for the birthday party event. I think it's going to be funny. I'm going to give them a story as to what what they're doing and make it fun because it's going to be a story based event. So just add some more fun to the game, giving your army a story as to what happened to Bilbo's birthday cake. All right. So adding the white now onto this side, you can see the white highlights here now around the door. We're just hitting those raised sections just to kind of give it some definition. Yeah, dry brushing is a. I'm a new painter to the hobby, but I've had trying out dry brushing this year has been a huge game changer for me. Just because it's a pretty simple technique, but it can add a lot of difference to your work palette. And David brought he's working on a board right now and showed it, and it looks pretty awesome. I'm excited to maybe someday play on his board, but it looks pretty sweet. He's doing a great job on it, and he could use it for a gaming board. It also as a display board if you wanted, just to kind of put his army on for something fun. Now I'm just going back through and hitting the regions that I want to be more highlighted to give more definition to. So like up here at the top, you have these little triangles, and I'm wanting to really highlight this top section to really, really give it that white stone look because as a sun, it's coming down from the top, so you're gonna have more light in the top sections compared to like down in the bottom where you're gonna have more shading. So typically, when you're doing, if you're want to try and give it a more aesthetic look to it, you want to try and hit the top sections, and leave the bottom sections. Darker. So that, if you're going back and doing like something I'm thinking about doing with this multi-pack is going back and doing an Athenian camo shade to give it kind of like some mossy look. So I would do that all to the bottom section. And kind of like the crags and stuff, where water could get into and seep into. So um, yeah, just having fun. I've been the painting is for this multi-pack's been a lot of fun. As I said in the first video, I've had this pack for about a year since I started getting into the game, and I'm happy to get to have these painted up now and use them for for us to play on. That's cool though that you got to use your terrain today, Lee. That's great. I love getting to like last night when I got to play with this terrain. Um, with David, I love seeing it on the board because knowing that I painted it and you get have some kind of pride seeing something that you made on the board. So kind of like when you paint an army and you see it and you think it looks good and you're proud of it. But, in regards to Legion tomorrow, David, I forgot that my wife is coming back into town tomorrow, so I've got to pick her up from the airport. So I'm probably not going to be getting any Star Wars Legion in tomorrow because of that. I'll probably try and get some in next weekend since my wife won't be out of town and I have to pick her up. So, but yeah, I'm probably going to use thinking about using these ruins. I'm playing a Star Wars Legion mission right now with a friend of mine, and they just came out with an ATST down pack where basically something destroyed this ATST and it's crumpled to the ground, and there comes with some mission cards in the box, and one of the missions is you're trying to extract information that was or data that was on the ATST and take it back for your army, and you're trying to have more of it by the end of the game than your opponent. So I won the first game, and then it's a two-part mission. So the second part of the mission now is I've brought the data back to my army. Now the opposing team is going to try and find where my secret base is at and extract the data and get as many models into the base, my secret base, as possible. So it's really thematic, kind of like with Endor, or when Leia took the Death Star plans, the Empire was hunting down for those plans. So again, I just love the story aspects of the game and getting creative. And Jake's done a great job so far with the campaign that we're doing right now with our battle companies, and I like how it's set during the Fourth Age. It gives it some make believe where we can kind of think about what could have happened after Aragorn became King Elisar and became king. So currently painting anything? Lee, you said you were painting something today. What are you working on? Oh, cool. I mean, in general, David, are you painting anything right now that you're working on? Like besides your board that you showed me last night, are you painting any models right now that you're looking forward to playing with once you get done with them? So ROTN, is that Return of the King? Oh, or I'm sorry, what is ROTN, Lee? Rangers of the North. I gotcha. Sweet. Yeah, once I get the next video series that I'll be doing next week is I'll be starting to paint my battle companies to get ready for next Friday's mission. So I'm going to work on my Mirkwood first since they don't have any paint on them right now. My Harajim at least have a little bit of paint on them. So I'm going to try and get uh, my Mirkwood army with some paint on it. That'll be our next painting videos that will start next week. So right now I'm just painting, just going over um, the raised sections of the stone at the top. Again, to give it some edges and definition to the stone. I've hit the top parts of the stairs now, and you can see how, like right here, you can see these white raised parts are getting hit, and in these crevices, just to kind of get some more light variance here. How are the mortar works coming along, David? Are you having fun with them right now? And I haven't gone to paint my mortar works up yet. Hey, thanks for stopping by, David. Have a good one, and I will we'll talk to you soon. I'm going to be heading to bed here pretty soon myself. I'm going to finish up just the dry brushing here, and then tomorrow night we'll probably do another stream where I'll be uh, doing some Nuln Oil and some more shading on these guys. Anyone that wants to watch. Yeah, I think for the battle companies, what I like is I like how we're all on a map and we're all trying to move around and get different things. So I think that's really cool. Uh, and I like how the battle companies, like, we all start with a small army and it builds up over time. And kind of like in war, you have losses, and so you know and you can also create a story as well. So, like, if you want, after each of your games, you want to kind of talk about what happened and make a kind of a narrative about it. I know a lot of people like that as well. Kurt got to go to NashCon this weekend, so I'm hoping that he had a good time at NashCon today. I've never been, but John Billy used to go. It's more of a historical convention. Um, so I'm hoping that everyone, Kurt had a good time, and David Cliffell from our group also is hosting a game there. So hoping that he had a good time today because his event was today, I believe. So this piece is coming along pretty good. So I've hit, you can see here, I've got the white stonework up here, and then I've done around the archways. You can see the white kind of right here in this vein, and then kind of on this corner here, and then on this edge up here as well. Yeah, I understand about that, Lee. I'm going to be. I have a PayPal credit card, and the nice thing about PayPal is you can pay that credit card over 6 months. And so what I do with that is I use that for all of my hobbying stuff. So I can, like when they have these pay to orders and stuff, I drop 100, 200 bucks on the card, and I can pay that over 6 months, which is really nice. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Is the this month's cycle ends on the 27th. So um, next Friday, or probably next Thursday, I'm gonna go and pick up my pay to order stuff, and I haven't looked at the prices yet. I saw that y'all said it was pretty expensive, um, but uh, but yeah, that's something I'm gonna be looking at getting. I want to get the casualties because I think those would be really nice for some of our trophies, and also to throw down on the battlefield for our boards. And then I also want to get the Twilight Ring Race as well. Yeah. Oh, my cat has come to join. Say hello, everyone. This is my cat Furball. She was my great aunt's cat. My great aunt died from stage 4 cancer a couple weeks ago now. So I took her when she passed away. And she's a talkative cat. She's old. She's like 15 years old. So she sleeps in here most of the day in my hobby room / office. I'm sure she's going to be a reoccurring guest on our live streams since this is her room that she likes to sleep in. Yeah, I can't wait to see your Rohan stuff, Lee. I bet you it's going to look pretty sweet when you get all that painted up. I've got most of the Rohirrim heroes now. I just haven't painted them up yet because I've got other stuff I've been working on, and I'm getting ready to start working on the trophies for our December tournament, and they're going to look pretty sweet. So I've got some pictures of mine for what I want to do, and now I just gotta go and do it. Yeah. What? What? He just wants attention. That's all. Lee, do you have any animals at your house? Yeah. Two cats, a dog, and two children. So you could be like, you could call your place the Animal House from National Lampoon. If you ever watched that movie with the guy who played one of the Blues Brothers, can't think of it his name. I think he's passed away now, but he was pretty funny. Yeah, yeah. My sister, she lives in Texas with my brother-in-law, and they have 3 cats, 3 dogs, and then them too, and so they also have an animal house. Yeah, and I just have 3 cats right now. I had 2 cats, and I didn't think I was going to get a third one, and kept on telling my wife I wanted a third cat because I feel like cats are kind of like potato chips. You just can't have one. But but luckily I got a third cat now, and she likes to hang out with me in here in my guest room. And I've got a TV in here, so usually if I'm not live streaming and I'm painting, I'll usually have some Lord of the Rings turned on, and I'll have that going on in the background while I'm painting. What do you like to watch or listen when you're painting, Lee? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I'm just hitting the right side of this building over here with the dry brush. Yeah, the STF Wargaming, I like their YouTube channel a lot too. I subscribe to them, and did you get to watch the Articon tournament, Lee? STF had on their channel this past week. I haven't gotten to watch it yet. It's on my uh, saved for watch later videos, but it was cool to see Angmar win, and the girl that won it. A lot of people say she's the best player in the world, and so now she's kind of proven that she is the best player for now. At least we'll see what happens next year. See if someone tries to come back to take the mantle. But it was cool to see Angmar. It was a really tough list, and she had so much magic going on that uh, it was pretty crazy. Very magical list. As you can see here, I've hit up the door right here. You can kind of see the white on the stone right here. And then the outlining of the door now is white, so it gives that sharp detail. You can see here along this edge, you got that white nice sharp highlight. So you can just get some more flavor. This piece is almost done, and then this is the largest piece, so it's kind of the beast to do. Then once I get done with this, I'm going to hit the last two pieces up and the two statues, and then call it a night for tonight. I'll probably pick up some more tomorrow. Yeah, so I had the same issue, Lee, when I paint is my my painting table is right here, and my TV's over there. So what I've done, like with here, is I'm facing the computer screen right now, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll turn my chair around to where I'm looking at the TV, and I can have a model in my hand and paint on it as well while the TV's going on. If there's something on that I'm really want to try and pay more attention to. But I'm really hoping they do some second age stuff with the TV show coming on Amazon. I would love to see some second age stuff for the Middle Earth Strategy Battle game. I'm sure people are going to make, if GW doesn't do something, I'm sure someone is going to do something. That's part of the great thing about this hobby is how much, people can individualize their stuff and make it their own. And then now a lot of people just share their stuff online too to show what they've done, just give other people ideas, which is great. I was telling John today that I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, also because I want to pay attention to it and see how she does, just so that way I can get better as a player, since she's a really good player. So hopefully learn some things from her. At least that's my goal, anyways. Yeah, I can't wait to have uh, this terrain on the table, get to play with it some more. And there's some, I'm just going back right now and hitting up some more of the corners that didn't get quite highlighted like I wanted them to with the white. Here I wanted to really hit up this top part right here because you got the sun and it's broken. So I've got this emblem right here a little bit wider. That way it's more distinguishable. This is turning out looking good. Yeah, I've never played against Angmorley, so I'm looking forward to watching it and learning some from the Angmar master. Yeah, I feel the same way. A lot of times when I'm watching something, if it's interesting, I'm like, oh, I got paint still on my brush. I better, you know, get the paint off before it dries. All right, so I've hit up the side here now. Let's see. You can get a better view of that. So you can see the white up here and up on the edges. I got some here. So now I'm going to hit the back side up of the wall here now. Now I'm just really hitting up the tops again because they're going to be lighter shade at the top from the sun than the stuff that's down in the corners and crags and stuff. Trying to make that distinguishable. All right. I'll hit up this back side a little bit more. So I hit the front side here, and I think the front line looks really good. I'm going to try and hit up the back side over here now with some more of that, more white. What do you say about the shade being a major buzzkill? Are you saying it? You never want to play against it if your opponent had a shade. I could see that. All right, so I hit up all the stone on the inside now. Now I'm just going to hit up more over here on this side, and then we'll be done with this piece. Yeah, that's what John was talking about tonight. If you're playing against Angmar and you can never get a 6 because of the shade, it might be a giant buzzkill. But you also got to know how to protect your shade as well, because if the shade goes down, then your army goes down pretty much. They're a key part of it. Ooh. Right. So with the white all completely covered over, you can now see that the white, like on this edge here, you can see that the stone is more dynamic and more 3D now from this white just hitting the stone and kind of giving it that dimensional structure now and making it pop out. Um, so now this is first complete piece of the Osgiliath Ruins multi-pack with the white, and we'll go back and do some shading with it tomorrow by adding some Nuln oil and some Atheno camo shade to kind of give it again that kind of mossy look for where it could pull up at. So next piece we're going to do is the next largest piece, which is this one, and so of course some white on it. Yeah, that's definitely true. If you can't get sixes, you definitely can't beat trolls because the trolls get sixes. Uh, then you just can't win. Luckily, you're gonna hope they don't get sixes and that you're able to get something higher than they are. Just adding some more white scar paint to my dry brush and trying to get as much paint of it off as I can. So I'm just hitting the highlighted and raised regions of the stone on this new piece. I really want to hit up these sections up here at the top. I really want to get those defined. So I'm gonna do a little bit more focus on them. All right, so I've hit up this top part now. You can see the light white is um, present here on these raised edges up here at the top. Now I'm going to go back and go over this stone section here at the bottom. Grab some more paint, dry it off my brush. All right, so almost done with the front side. Number one favorite army theme wish by Lee. Hmm. Number one favorite army theme wish. It's a good question. Oh, Lee. Oh man. I think number one. Oh, number one favorite army theme wise. Um. I mean, I've got to say, I really like the theme with the three hunters, with the new supplement that they came out with the Gondor at War book with the three hunters with the Army of the Dead. I love that theme, and I love that part in the movie. It's one of my favorites. So that's one of my favorite army themes that they've had so far with the new Legendary Legions, and I really like the new Hobbit Legendary Legion as well, where they can make traps and drop stuff since they're not, hobbits aren't known to be particularly good warriors, but they love their food, and uh, I think traps would be very thematic for them to make to try and capture stuff and to stop people from entering into Hobbiton. What's your number one favorite army theme, Wisely? Oh, nice. I can't wait to see how people, make up their traps and how they do them differently from one another. Cool. I don't know if we probably will not see the Hobbit Legendary Legion at a super competitive tournament, but at least, it's super themey and seems like just a lot of fun to play if you brought that Legendary Legion. I like Mirkwood a lot as well. I'm going to be painting up some Mirkwood here this next week with our channel. So I'm looking forward to getting those guys painted up because I think they look really sweet. Even though they were only ever released, the Mirkwood were only really released with Finecast, which kind of stinks in my opinion. I prefer plastic and metal, but each has their own benefits and weaknesses. But at least Forge World um, Finecast is a little bit better quality than Games Workshop. Sorry, guys, it's getting late for me. We're trucking right along. Yeah, the Great Companies are a sweet army too. I like their theme from the books, and I think they're a lot of fun as well. Almost done with the second piece from the multi-pack. So I've got the back side. I painted up this top section right here. So you can see the white like edge right there and going across. It's all like that. Hard to see with the camera, with the light, but you get the idea. All right. So Lee, what is your least favorite army to go against? Maybe besides Angmar, since you say you didn't have fun going against them, so you. More paint on our brush. No problem, bud. Now I'm going to go back through. I've done the front side now with the highlighted edges. Now I'm going to go through and do the back side. What's your favorite Lord of the Rings movie, Lee? I think for me too, it's the same, Leah. I think when it comes to favorite movie, it really depends on the mood. Like when I've been playing Moria lately. I've been wanting to watch Fellowship just because of the Moria goblins and stuff in but yeah, so it really just depends for me, I think. Are you, are your kids into Lord of the Rings, Lee? I'm just doing this other archery right here, just doing the backside of this one. All right, so we've got this piece finished off on the front with the white highlights, and on the side and on the back side, so you can see what that looks like. Now we're going to go for the stairs multi, or the stairs section of the multi-pack. Couldn't get the dang word out. What did y'all think of Detective Pikachu, Lee? I got to watch it with my wife the other night, and I had a lot of fun watching it. It felt like a lot of, just a fun show. That's awesome that your oldest son is starting to get into the stuff that you're interested in. That'll hopefully you can bring him into the game as well and get him into hobbying. As I was saying, like, it's cool that your son is getting into the stuff that you like now. It creates for a great father-son relationship. Hope maybe you can get him into playing the Miller Strategy Battle game here in Nashville. Maybe have you gotten to play practice games with your oldest son with For Lord of the Rings to show him what it's like and to show him your cool models that you've painted? We're almost done with the stairs as well, just because they're a small piece, not a whole lot to add to them, which is good. I've added the white highlights to the back sides on both of them now, and on top. I think they looks good to me. Yeah, I agree. It's a little hard leave for a, you know, someone even for older people like us. It's hard. We get confused with the rules sometimes too. So I can understand how it would be hard to have your son teach them. Uh, Red, I guess, and Gandalf are pretty cool. I can understand why your son likes them. That's cool. You got the White Council, Lee. Council's pretty sweet. I was actually looking at them in the Army's book of the Hobbit tonight for mine and John's game in Alabama, and it was cool to see those models. I'd like to see those guys become re-released. That would be sweet. It'll probably never happen. But we're just about done here. All right, so now I've got my white steps all done. I'm going to finish off with the statues, and we will pick up tomorrow where we left off. As you can see here, I'm just hitting the highlights on the statue now, just to get in gray sections, give them that contrast between light and dark. Every time I say that line, I think of the Bendu from Star Wars, where talking about being in the middle. All right, so here's this one. Now you can see I've got some white highlights on his beard here, and then also on the front side here, so you can see more of the shadows inside and the white on his cloak. All right, we're on the last statue. We're going to call it a night. Just at about an hour and a half streaming. So I hope you've enjoyed the stream tonight, and thank you to everyone who stopped by and came and chatted with me. Big thanks to David and to Lee for coming by and hanging out with us tonight. And um, like I said, stay tuned for our next video where we're going to, now that we've added the white highlights to this, we're going to go back and I'm going to do a Bane Blade Brown on the wood, and just do a highlight with that, and then I'm going to go and take some Nuln oil on the wood and get into the cracks where it gives it that darkness. Then I will go through and do some Athenium Camo Shade at some of the areas that I think water would pull up at, and then put some Fluck on it and call it done. Getting closer. So we're just about done here. I'm going to add a little bit more paint to my statue king here. What I'm doing is just pinning up on all the raised sections of his cloak here on the back side, and also coming down on his arms. All right, and there we have it, guys. We've got a finished statue uh, that we're going to use for our Battle Company games, and we'll add to it tomorrow. So thank you all for stopping by to watch, and if you like the video, please make sure you like the video. It helps out our channel a lot and gets seen by others to help us grow. And also share it with your friends and see what they think of the video. We will see you tomorrow night. Take it easy, everyone. Have a great rest of the evening, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Bye. Have a good night, everyone.